So Trump's Department of Justice is proposing basically an all-out assault on people's civil liberties, on their civil rights. So Trump's Department of Justice is proposing basically giving all judges, I believe, the discretion during emergencies to basically take away people's rights to have a trial. Is basically suspending habeas corpus. This would grant judges authority to pause court proceedings during emergencies. So, for example, a person could be arrested and never be brought before a judge until they being the judges in this instance, before they decide a emergency is over. And this would apply to pre-arrest, post-arrest, pre-trial, trial, post-trial, juvenile proceedings, and all civil processes. So if this somehow makes it through the Democratic-controlled Congress, which I really hope it doesn't, but then again, they've passed and reauthorized things like the Patriot Act. This would also pause statute of limitations during an emergency, so that would completely go out the door. And again, it would just give judges this huge unwieldy power to basically lock a person up during these emergencies. They wouldn't have to go before a judge, and again, it applies to throughout the legal process, pre-arrest, post-arrest, pre-trial, trial, and all juvenile and civil proceedings. Somebody could be locked up, again, never have to go before a judge during these so-called emergencies, and have to go through that process until it's over, just being locked up, not giving any type of due process or a jury trial. And it would just give these judges during these emergencies the ability to just pause court proceedings. They could just say, nope, pausing this right now, we're in emergency, we'll resume it after, we're going to lock you up, you haven't been afforded any type of your constitutional and civil rights that are guaranteed to you by the Constitution of the United States. Doesn't matter, I'm a judge, I'm declaring it, we're in emergency right now, so all that stuff goes out the window. And again, this is something very similar to what happened after the attacks on September 11th in 2001, where on the guise of keeping us safe and protecting the U.S. populace, we were stripped of a number of our rights, including our phones being tapped and all of these really invasive things that were supposedly to make us safe, when in fact they just gave the government more power to control us, more power, more authoritarian powers. And again, this would just be empowering the judicial branch, empowering these judges to be judge, jury, and basically executioner during these so-called emergencies, because it would grant them the ability to, again, pause court proceedings at any point. If a so-called emergency is in order, they can just stop it. People could be locked up indefinitely during these times without being afforded any type of due process, without having to come before a judge or have a trial or any of these things. And it's just obviously the completely wrong direction that we need to be going right now with regards to our criminal justice system. What I think needs to happen, especially in order to prevent just more death and suffering and just stop the spread of this coronavirus as much as possible, is we need to release all nonviolent offenders from our jails, from our prison systems. And again, we incarcerate more people in the United States than any country in the world, and yet we're the land of the free. Obviously, you can't have both of those things be true at once. You can't lock up more people than anybody in the world and consider the United States to be some bastion of freedom when, we have millions of people in cages or under state supervision, most of them, again, for nonviolent offenses, oftentimes for drug offenses. And we also need to recognize and point out how racist our criminal justice system, our court system is, and how it disproportionately negatively impacts people and communities of color, as well as low income folks as well. So that's what we should be doing. We should be not giving up more of our constitutional rights. We shouldn't be giving up more of our protections to any branch of government. Those things should be expanded and protected, and we need to release all nonviolent offenders from prison. It's the right thing to do. Iran has actually done that. I'm not sure what prisoners they released, but I saw a thing they released tens of thousands of their prisoners to help slow down the spread of this coronavirus. So, I hope this doesn't see the light of day. I hope if it comes up for a vote, it gets voted down in the House. But this is, again, really authoritarian, really draconian step that Trump's Department of Justice is trying to take to really embolden and empower the judicial branch during these emergencies. And again, it would just completely strip away people in the United States their constitutional rights during these crises, during these emergencies. That's not what we need at all. They need to be expanded. They need to be protected, especially during these emergencies. We don't need to be locking more people up indefinitely. We need to be releasing all nonviolent drug offenders, or all nonviolent offenders, definitely all drug offenders, from our prisons and jails, and really get some much needed criminal justice reform, and work towards a more transformative type of justice system, and not this really punitive system that just seeks to harm and punish and demonize, and makes it more likely that people commit crimes again because they go to jail or prison. They're labeled oftentimes as a felon. Makes it harder to get jobs, makes it harder to get housing, to vote, to reintegrate into society. So again, we need to completely just transform how we handle and treat people that commit crimes in the United States. And this would obviously, what the Trump's Department of Justice is proposing, is obviously completely opposite of what we should be striving for right now. So just some thoughts I would love to hear in the comment sections down below. Peace, much love.